Story Matters, and I am your host, Lady Doc. This podcast is devoted to amplifying the voices, journey, and wisdom of women from every walk of life. Here we celebrate the stories that often go untold. Stories of resilience, courage, creativity, leadership, and transformation. Each episode, I will sit down with extraordinary women who are making an impact in their communities, industries, and the world through honest conversations, powerful insight, and shared experiences. Her Story Matters remind us that women voices aren't just inspiring, but they are essential. So whether you're here to learn, to feel empowered, or to find your own voice reflecting back at you, you're in the right place. This is Her Story Matters, and every story starts now. So I'm going to introduce my guest, and my first guest is Trice Rain. And Trice Rain is a free spirit, a formal certified holistic life coach, entrepreneur, podcaster, current hardworking mother of 5 beautiful souls, 3 daughters, 2 sons, all adults except for her youngest son. This is Miss Trice right here. And my second guest, which is Miss Lachey Green Thomas, is a Buffalo native with over 20 years of experience in childhood education, a dedicated agent of change, and a lifelong learner. She is known for effectively engaging and advocating for individuals who lack education opportunities. She has a strong track record working with at-risk youth, diverse communities, bringing expertise in group facilitations, problem solving, and conflict resolutions. Lachey holds a master's degree in creativity, change, leadership that was done in 2023, a graduate certified in adult education in 2022, and a bachelor's degree in business administration, economics, and that was in 2007, all from Buffalo State University. She has served in various community and youth advocacy roles and previously worked in the Higher Education Administration Department of Buffalo State. She is the Director of Community Engagement and Housing at Push Buffalo, as well as a wife to Sherman Thomas and a mother to 3 sons, Shamarian, and I know the baby's name, Shamarian, Nehemiah, and Noah. Our third guest is Miss Tonya R. Williams, is the mother of 3, Shamara, Kalijah, and Maurice, and a goddaughter, Kayla. She is the visionary behind Lovely Lady magazine, which I have right here. And she also has digital copies. I'll let her go into more details on that, which began as her personal journey in 2014 and grew to a national distribution by 2018. Committed to empowering women across all backgrounds, Tonya shares stories of transparency, resilience, transformation to help readers become their best selves. A devoted community servant, Tonya faithfully serves as an elder at First Calvary Missionary Baptist Church and works closely with local homeless populations through Lovely Lady magazine and Redirection Ministries. She continues to inspire, uplift, and strengthen her community. And last but not least, we have Miss Tomeka King, which is became a mother at the age of 17, but remained determined to build a better life for herself and her family. She completed high school, earned her an associate's degree in business administration from ECC, and later a Bachelor of Science from Buffalo State University after facing significant challenges, including spending 8 months in a homeless shelter. Her faith and perseverance guided her forward. With wealth of life experience, Tomeka proudly embraces her multifaceted mom's resume. Having been a teen mom, single mom, working mom, stay-at-home mom, divorced mom, bonus mom, and mom in love, now married to Mr. George King. She is, woohoo, yes, George King. She is the mother to 6 children, grandmother to 2. Tomeka works for the City of Buffalo Water Authority and enjoys family time, traveling, good food, and she is an official foodie. So yes, so this episode, we will be talking about motherhood unadulterated. And all we can do is keep it straight with no chaser. So the first question that I have for you ladies is identifying the shift. So let's talk about the moment you realized motherhood had changed you. What did you lose and what did you gain? Who would like to go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So, when I thought about this question, there was a lot of things that really ran through my mind, but in all reality, it was right at the very beginning. When I had my first child, and that contraction hit me, and I thought that I was going to die. I'm telling you, I had told myself I will never ever do this again. And so it was that moment of realizing that that would be the only person that could hurt me so much, but turned out to love me, and I loved them. So I want to say that was a moment for me. Like I said, this experience, it was the worst, but it was also the best. And it was life changing. Because after, I left there saying that I have to protect her. I don't want her ever to feel how I felt. And from this day forward, I gotta make some changes. Because if I don't do it for nobody else, I have to do it for her. So again, I said that was one moment that nobody ever hurt me like that. But at the same time, it was a love that I would die for. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Trice?
Okay, can you
Ask the question again?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what did you lose? How did motherhood change you? What did you lose and what did you gain?
I was a teen mom, so I had my first child before I knew who I was. So, as far as what I lost, at first, I can't even say that I really lost anything. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I was homeless. And I actually had her and brought her back to a homeless shelter. That was a really big experience for me because just like you, how you made that decision to yourself, you said, I gotta do things for her. It changed me because I knew I had to grow up. I couldn't be a little girl anymore because it wasn't about me anymore. So I would say she changed me because from that day forward, I had to sacrifice for her. It wasn't about it. She basically, the road that I was gonna figure out who I was had to come to a standstill. Cause she came first. And as I had more kids and time went on, I can honestly say that I found myself. And then I realized that I'm more than a mom. But I had to realize that after becoming a mom, because I had her so young.
Okay.
So she changed me by, at first, it was a sacrificial thing. And then it became me it kind of pushed me to go on that journey to figure out who I am beyond this, because motherhood ain't easy. And I wanted to be more than just a mom. So I had to figure out who that is. So, yeah.
I had my first child at 24 years old, and I really lost myself, I would say, in the Lord when I found out I was pregnant, because I was heavy in church, and I also lost every title I had because my pastor was upset that I got pregnant, and it hurt him so bad. And I remember praying to God, asking God, Lord, can you just take him in that long sleep so he won't know that I'm pregnant or see me have this baby? Because I was on everything and I was in everything, and I knew how much I meant to my pastor, and it was a tough time for me. So I went into fasting, I went into deep prayer, I went into praying over my womb and my child. And I mean, when you say what you gained today, I am so grateful for planting that seed, because the harvest that I have today in my 18-year-old son, who is so independent, graduated top of his class, currently in college, like everything that I asked him to do, he's done it. Might have done it his own way, but he's done it, and it was like one of the easiest children to raise. I got two after him. Them two would have came first. I promise you. I would have been one and done. Okay, 2 and 3. That one right there, he set the pace, and then I realized, and I know we'll get to it later, that they can't get the same parent that he got. Oh, let's talk about it.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Wow, that's good. Tomeka.
I'm gonna say first, you stole my answer.
No, because I can relate to Trina. I can relate to you because my answer is what I lost was me, because I was so young when I had my daughter. 17, junior in high school, delivered by the time I turned 18, finished my senior year. So I didn't know who I was yet. So that's what I lost. I lost me and became mom, became protector, provider. But what I gained was independence, but dependence on God. Independence from people, independence on God. I went through a time where there was a strength that I found that I didn't know I had, a determination I didn't know I had, because now I have this baby. And I was in my own home by then, 17, going to high school from my own house. So there was a lot I had to learn early, and mom was my focus. And with each child, I felt like I lost a little more of me. Finding me became pushed more to the back burner, because I'm mom number 1, now I'm mom to 2, now I'm mom to 3, and it went up to 6. So, and sometimes I still feel like it's some parts of me I'm still looking for. So, you know, that's my story.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody take a breather.
No, it started sweating.
That's right. Because now we're about to get to the hard stuff. See, that was the easy stuff. So, what's something about motherhood that you wish people talked about more?
So we keeping this pattern, Tonya gonna start first, right?
Or,
yeah.
I'll go first
Go
this
back
time.
this way.
Yep, we go there. Okay, so I would say emotional maturity and responsibility. That's something I've been focusing on myself. I'm still learning how to respond in a different way than I have been. And I feel like we're missing that a lot in our community, emotional maturity, because so many of us raise children young. And so we haven't been taught from those that raised us how to be emotionally mature. And so if we are parents raising children, they will become emotional mature adults. And that affects how they interact with each other, how they interact with other youths, because you see these kids, stealing cars, shooting, all of that stems from things that weren't dealt with properly at a younger age. So we're seeing the results of emotional immaturity. So that's something I've been focusing on, because the way just think about how the things were given to you emotionally, how you responded to how someone gave it to you is how you're gonna respond to somewhere else.
The
But
reaction.
a soft answer turns away wrath. So if you get a hard answer, you're gonna get a hard response, and that's what people, you know, they wrestle and battle with. So I think that's something that needs to be done.
I feel like people should talk about the fact that, not everyone should be a mom.
Yeah.
Wow.
Having children is a huge responsibility. They are not dolls. They don't stay babies. And,
So you can't just sit them up on the show? and come
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
me?
yeah.
and to be honest, every parent's number one goal should be raising parents that don't need to heal from them.
Right.
So, in order for that to happen, we should be in a good space to be able to take on such a huge weight of someone else's life, because they're only ours for a short period of time. We're not raising. I think before you had kids, you think, oh, my baby, but really, this is a young individual who will one day go out into the world and live there and have their own world and make their own world and make their own family. And everything that they watch you do, everything that they hear, everything that they see, and everything you have them around, all of that stuff helps to shape that person. All of the evil people that we see in the world, one day, they were babies. They were somebody's babies, and somebody had them, and a lot of times did not do right by them. You know, so I think we don't talk about the seriousness of having a baby, especially in our community. I don't know about other races and other people's communities, but in our community, it is so much more often that we see someone have a baby and have a baby shower than a wedding.
Yes, yes.
Our kids they can tell you how many kids they want, but they can't even tell you if they wanna get married. So I feel like there should be more talking, especially to you, about the gravity and the seriousness of what it is to be responsible for life.
Wow, that's good, that's good. That's good.
I will just, go on to say more opportunities such as this, having a safe space to speak, with other moms, especially to think about the BIPOC community, and as many as women that suffer in silence as mothers, whether it's silent depression, postpartum, whether it's, mental health, suicidal thoughts and things of that nature, and not having an outlet where you feel like you can be connected to my sister, connected to someone who looks like me, and I've been through what I've been through. We do so well at wearing a mask. We do so well at becoming resilient that we forget that I'm hurting.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to be okay, but wave the white flag and say I'm okay, and not keep putting another brick in my book bag and carrying it and pulling it through, because then you damage the thing that you birthed. Because at home, they see that raw, unadulterated you. In community, they don't see that.
Yeah.
So I wish it was just more opportunities such as this, to be real, to be honest, to be committed, connected, and consistent with what your communication is as a mom, as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a woman scorned, you know what I mean? Kids didn't ask to be here, heck, we didn't ask to be here, and children are made with a mother and a father. And in our community, speaking about the Black community, so many are raised without the father figure. And mom, you could be a hell of a mother, but you can never be dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's so hard to try to put on that coat every single day for your son that's struggling, for your daughter that's struggling. So I wish this, again, continues I wish it grows. I wish that more people come and listen here and get these seeds and take from it.
That's good.
All right, it's awesome. All of your answers really, really great. And I'm just thinking about when I was younger, a lot of these questions that you asked, I kind of went to my younger self and growing up. And when I grew up in a household where my grandmother was the mother of the church. My grandfather was an alcoholic. So there were some things inside of the house that was a little bit unbalanced. And so because I was one of the preacher's kids, we had an image that we had to uphold. So everywhere we went, there had to be that image. But the reality was there was some things that was happening inside. And what I think that we should talk about more is what really happens, like the mental health of our children. They are at warfare. If it's warfare in the home, the child is at warfare, then they have to leave the household and deal with their peers, and they have to deal right now with on social media and acceptance, and all of these things that's ungodly, that they gotta make choices with. And we wonder sometimes, why are they where they are? We have to be able to accept and understand that they're going through, they have anxiety, they have pressure. And once I grew up and I realized, I said, I have to really, really consider, why is my child acting out like this? What's going on? What's going on in the house that I'm telling them, like, pray about it. But some actions need to be taken on some things. So I had to tell myself, I do not want my children to grow up having all of these anxieties, having all this pressure, having all this stress. And because I'm under pressure, because I'm a single mom, or I gotta pay all the bills, I'm just thinking that they supposed to just understand it. Just listen to what I say and that's it, I'm the mother, it doesn't matter. And so they really have deep in those quiet places that they go through and that they go to where they all alone, stuff that they probably feel like, I don't wanna say another thing to my mom right now. And so I just wish that when I was younger, that I had that, and I didn't. So it made me feel like I had to make sure I always had that space and that opportunity, and to provide a safe space for them to feel and to think, and not just be like, oh, just forget about it. I'm grown, you do what I say and not what I do, So I think that's something that right now, because I'm looking at the state of a lot of our teenagers, I'm looking at the community that I serve, which is the homeless population, and I just don't know what's happening to my children right now. Well, I do. They're homeless too. They're dealing with the same pressures that you have to deal with too. And so I just think it's important that we talk about that more, and understanding that these children are dealing with the same type of warfare that we are, and they're understanding it less because most of them don't know the scripture and they don't know how to pray. So
That's good. That's good. So now that we done got all on the heavy stuff, now we're gonna bring a little humor into all this chaos, okay? So again, I want you to take a moment and think about something that happened, and just tell us about a moment that was so ridiculous that you had to laugh as a mother.
I've had plenty of these. So my sons, if any of y'all know from my social media, they are clowns. Well, one of this particular day, I took them to, and this was years ago, and I took them to the flea market because the flea market was still on Walden. And they saw these BB guns that look like real actual handguns. Mom, can we get these? Absolutely not. So I went to do this whole spiel about why you can't get it. Guns, this is not what we're gonna do. We're not gonna have these kinds of toys. And so, very next weekend, they go into the flea market with their grandmother. And I said, Grandma, they absolutely cannot have a BB gun. And she said, oh, no way. So guess what they did? They got BB guns. And their cousins who went with them got BB guns. And the neighbor's child who went with them got a BB gun. All sponsored by grandma. And I do get it, I'm a grandma too, so sometimes I do allow my kids to do something that my daughter say no. Like, they can't eat candy after 9 o'clock. Yes, they can. Well, anyway, so I was at a second service that I was invited to at church. And I get this call. First of all, this is what they're doing. They outside in my backyard in Amherst, having a shootout with each other with the BB gun. It carries into my front lawn, which went into my house. And it did not stop until one of them shot a Gus Macker trophy and it broke. So then now the cousin and my son get into a fight. Now they rumbling in my room, in my living room. So now my son calls and says, Mom, you gotta get here. It's going crazy. I leave the church, rush there, and now they all calm now. And all I see is these handgun BB guns all over the place. They done shot BB holes in the above ground pool. They done shot BB holes in my flowers. And then I was like, what? So now I'm like just tearing up everybody in the house. Like, you know what? And I mean, I just lost it. I was hitting the neighbors' kids. I was just hitting everybody. So it's hilarious now when we think about it, because it's friends, you know, that come over long years that they had for years. And you know, he said, remember when your mom smacked me? I'm like, oh my God, Ryan, I am so sorry. But it was just like, we laugh about it now, but it's just like ridiculous. Like, why do kids do the things that they do? Crazy.
That's good. Anyone
I
else?
don't got a BB gun story. But my kids, they know, after they go through the kindergarten, don't bring me a homemade gift. Unless you want me to start cutting the paper machine your gifts for holidays, birthdays, or mitzvahs, or any of that. Don't make me nothing else. Y'all have birthdays, y'all got grandma that give y'all cards every holiday. Y'all have bank accounts and things of that. Don't make me another noodle nothing. So. I don't want a fuzzy ball. I want some merry happy nothing. Last Christmas, my 8-year, well, he was 8 then, he went into his penny master, what you get for Christmas this year? And it was the afternoon, here, Bob, it was the most bought up $41 I ever received in my life.
God.
I kept every one of them dollars, yes I did. He made me a card, put the money inside of it, but I could tell it was a struggle between him and his brother. But they understand, because you want me to go out and buy this, that, and third, you go through a book and circle everything you want. I got a book too that I want this and I want that. So.
You don't have to. No tea on
I
that?
couldn't. Well, the things that I thought of, I can't share.
Oh,
That was funny. You know, I ain't got that tea, honey.
No tea on that one.
I'm trying to think, and I can't really think anything other than my kids is just goofy. My kids rip on me. Like, they legitimately will rip on me. They literally had a roast, and they sat around and roasted me. And I had to take it. And at first I was getting upset, and then I was like, Mom, we don't play. Yeah, okay. So now I roast them back. So now we all roast each other.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now looking at everything that we just talked about, what is one piece of advice you will give to a new mom? No fluff, but real talk.
A new mom, I would say, you're not the first and you won't be the last. I would tell that new mom to get a relationship with Christ, and also write out the things you want for your child and read those things to your child, whether it's already came forth or you're harvesting that child and that seed. I would tell that mom to read to that child. Do not talk Google Gaga, talk whole words to that child. Keep that child on a schedule. If you wanna get some sleep, put that baby in a schedule at birth. That means feeding that baby every 3 to 4 hours. That way you will be able to have some you time and be able to get back to yourself. I would tell her to also don't think her life ended because she had a child. This is the best thing that could ever happen to you, because now your lineage grows because of you.
Well, honestly, I would say parenting classes are an excellent idea. I know in our community we don't talk about it, but it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because our kids aren't born with manuals, and it is never a bad idea to get advice on how to discipline a kid besides hitting them. And
learning about different developmental milestones that your kids are gonna go through and different ways to, like reach them. You know what I mean? Things your parent might not have done with you. You can come up with your own ways of doing and doing things with your kids. Also, I would tell her that if she's starting, like what she said before about mental health and postpartum depression, it is very common for a new mom to experience thoughts that she may have never had, emotions that she may have not had, and for some women to be detached from their kid. Because not every woman has a baby and has that nurturing, motherly bond. Sometimes they can't understand why. They're just interested in their own newborn. And that is also mental and psychological. And it is okay to talk to people about that. It is okay to, it doesn't make you a bad mom or a bad woman or a bad person to have that or experience those things. And nobody is perfect. So no matter how much in your head you got this vision of how you're going to be the perfect mom to this kid, you will never achieve that. And your kid will not be that perfect kid for you either. And it is okay. And it is also okay that, you know, kids are gonna be kids and they're gonna, sometimes they're gonna get on your nerves. Sometimes you're gonna need a break. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a single mom and you don't have a husband or a village. I think everybody should have a village, but unfortunately it's not reality for everybody to have one. And if you don't have a village, there may be resources somewhere out here. I wish I knew all of the resources, but there may be resources out here where you can reach out to someone and say, I need a break. Because there are a lot of people out here abusing their children. And I believe a lot of it is through frustrations of not being able to have a break when they needed that break. You know what I mean? You don't have to act like you're the perfect mom. I know on social media, everybody only shows the perfect lives. That's not reality. That's not real. And no matter how cute those pictures are, it's somebody struggling behind them.
That is the truth.
The Bible says that children are like arrows, and so we have to aim them in the direction that they should go with purpose. So I think it's very important that we understand that we are responsible. I say 90% of who we raise and what they become. Just pay attention to their characteristics, the things they're interested in, and point them in their direction. A lot of parents make a mistake and try to make their children live out what they missed. We don't want to do that to our children because they were born with their own purpose. And our job is to guide them into the purpose they were created for. So I think that's very important. And then start early. Even if it's, I say, creating a study habit. Start when they're in kindergarten. Because in middle school, it's gonna be a problem because they're not used to studying. So start with them early, read to them. Reading to children at bedtime produce good readers. Half of my children love to read. Even with prayer, have them pray about everything because as they mature, so will their prayer life. So it's just little things you can think about that you may have wanted as a child that you wish you would have started early. Cleaning your bedroom, start them young so you don't have to yell at them when they're 15 to clean your room. Just little things like that can be helpful in the long run.
So I want to look at it from just a little tad bit of a different perspective.
Okay.
To the new mom who may be facing, because things start out so wonderful in the beginning, and then they start facing relationship issues. The advice that I have for these moms, let that man see his kids.
Okay.
Let that man see his kids. Just because things didn't work out with you and him. And sometimes, they move on and they get other in other relationships and other spouses, and then, so what happens is mom begins to feel bitter and salty, and so she then deprives that child love in a relationship that's needing to help them grow. And so now you're finding that the child doesn't even like the father, but the child don't like the father because the mother was salty. So we have to make sure, that's my advice to the new mothers, let that man see his kids. Have a blended family if you must, because don't deprive the child love because that love relationship didn't work out with you. And so, but that's just my thing, you know.
That's good.
My advice.
That's good, no, that's real good.
I now wanna go on and say, just piggybacking on that, just watch your child. There are so many predators out here.
Oh my gosh.
And they're embedded in families, and they're embedded in daycares, and they're embedded in community. Keep an eye on your child, watch the signs, and make sure that you don't create a traumatic situation or a death hit for that child who has been untreated, because you have been untreated. It's again okay to speak on things that happen to you, but please check on your child, male and female. Do not trust everybody with your precious.
So you get, so you can, you know, party or whatever you wanna do.
Right.
Can I share a story?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so this year, this is recent, a friend of mine who's a counselor, shared a story about these children. No names were shared, of course, because of privacy. A 9-year-old and an 8-year-old girl, they were cousins. A parent rightfully, you know, checking on their child's phone just to make sure they're not doing anything they're not supposed to, and ran into a text message between her and her cousin, which are young, 8 and 9 years old. And one of the cousins said to the other one, "You can have him, I don't even like him no more." Come to find out, the people that they were talking about were their older cousins. They were like 14 and 16 who were having sex with their little cousins. But they were all at their grandma's house, which is safe. We feel okay, right, to send our young babies to grandma's house to be safe. And I'm making a point to say, because we were talking about keeping your kids safe in whatever environment they're in, but also leaning towards the emotional responses and maturity. So the mom rightfully went to her family members, discussed what happened, and one of the 14-year-old boys said, "Well, when I told you guys what happened to me, nothing was done about it." So that creates
That's right.
a snowball effect and a generational thing, the keeping silent. So what did they do? What can we imagine their parents' response was? Whoever this kid had the confidence to tell something was happening to them, either it was be quiet, this stays in the family, we don't, so we're putting at risk the innocence of the child and protecting the predator.
Yeah.
And so naturally, this boy thinks, well, nothing happened to the person that did it to me, so now I'm gonna do it to them. And
It's normal.
I hope, right, they think it's normal,
Yeah.
and then we're coming down, oh my God, this boy did this, but again,
It's a learned behavior.
it's something that's gonna keep going on until somebody takes responsibility and break it, right? Whoever has to go to jail, let them go to jail,
That's
because
it, that's it.
What happens
you're
in this
shutting the mouths of these
house
other
stays in
kids
this
that might
house
have something to say.
That whole
Exactly,
mentality that happened back in our parents' day
exactly.
needs
It
to
needs to
die.
go.
It needs to go.
Yeah.
Because it's carrying on generational trauma and curses.
And that thing about not needing to go to a therapist or get
Right.
counseling, that
Right.
needs to go
Therapist,
too.
yes, it does.
Yes,
Yeah,
we need to,
Absolutely.
yes, that's something that's very important.
The party's not worth it,
Yes.
that outing is not worth it, the cookout, if you can't go with your baby, you just
Right.
can't go. Work is not even worth it.
Right.
So, again, I will encourage you to always keep an eye on your child, and always, again, listen to your child and talk to them about their body parts, because
Yes.
they can go
And
to
use
school
the
and
real
say,
part.
the
Yeah.
real part,
Yeah.
they'll go to school and say,
No
somebody
nicknames.
stole my
No
cookie,
kitty cat.
and somebody thought it's a cookie that's really stole, and it's
Yeah.
really their innocence.
Exactly.
So, use the proper terminologies when speaking to your men and your young ladies of their body parts, so when they speak up about it, they can really clearly say what's happening to them.
Yes, I'm sorry, can I say?
Yeah.
And so when you were saying about the mothers, letting their fathers visit their children, be careful too, because who you choose to be with will affect your children, their lives, your lives for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So don't rush into any romantic relationships, especially when you have young children, because again, it's important. It's effective. Believe me. I suggest that you wait until you know it's going somewhere permanent.
Right.
Because your daughter or your son shouldn't see you with a new person every 6 months.
Correct.
And they shouldn't be introduced.
Should be a revolving.
And let the feelings be mutual, because sometimes us ladies and some men are farther along the relationship than the partner is. So you have to be on one accord, because you can think one thing and you can think he's it and he can think somebody else is it. So I think that's important.
My personal thing, if you don't know, then your kids shouldn't know them. Like, keep that separate. If you absolutely don't know, because you could be exposing a predator to your entire family.
And not all predators are in the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check the bloodline, always check the bloodline. Where did they come from? If you don't know their social security number, you shouldn't know them outside of their street clothes. I'm just saying. I flip my card around, my husband number right in the back of my card. That's before we had a kid, hold on. You win.
Credit check,
All that.
credit check, life check.
All of it.
Now that we didn't gave advice to the young mother, I want you to just close your eyes and take a moment and think if there was any advice that you could give your younger self, or a space that you could forgive your younger self. What would it be? Tonya.
Yeah, we lose ourselves. And we take on identities that, sometimes society tell us to take on. I would absolutely have been okay with being who I was and not putting on that mask. And so I had to forgive myself, and I even had to ask my children, forgive me. Because, there were times where I was in error. And, but y'all rolled with me. 10 toes down. They went the course with me. But, so I would say it's okay to be who you are. And allow God to He's constantly working on us. And just allow God to do what He does in you, through you.
Unapologetically.
Unapologetically, there you go.
I would say to my younger self that the love that I was looking for in other people, I should look inside first.
That's good.
I spent a lot of years of my life making bad decisions, just wanting to be loved. And looking back, it was me crying out for me the entire time. It was me crying out for me. It wasn't even about a man. It wasn't even about my mom, dad issues, and any of those things. It was voids in me that needed to be filled, and they could only be filled by me. And I know it now, but if I could go back, I would say, focus on you. Especially a man, I have to say men, because my God, when you're young, you're boy crazy, all you think about is boys. And when people say, boys are gonna be there, when you hear it, but it doesn't really, register, because
gonna be.
Exactly.
Right.
My heart wants what my heart wants, and you think you know everything, and can't nobody tell you nothing and all of that. I would go back and just say, girl, truly, those boys aren't going anywhere. They will be there. They will come back. They always been a block. Just focus on you, and I feel like that is the best advice I could have gave myself.
My younger self, no is a complete answer. And always after Christ, put yourself first. even when it comes to your kids, you have to put yourself first. Because if you're no good, you can't be good to your children. So, and it's okay to be selfish when it comes to you, because you gotta take care of yourself inside and outside. So that way, cause our kids, they gonna grow and they gonna do their own thing, and they gonna leave us in the dust because they out with their friends or they got with their significant other. So, to my younger self, I will tell me to choose me every time, at any time, and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, mine was, learning to forgive myself. I had to apologize though, because I had my two older children were not within my first marriage. So I had to, apologize to my oldest daughter, because rushing into a marriage, you tired of being a single mom, oh, he pretty decent, he seems to be good for my kids, this, that, and the other, and rushing into a relationship is not the answer. It really isn't. No matter how tired you are, no matter how hard it gets, it's worth toughing it out in order not to just invite the wrong person into your space. So I think that's very important. Anything you don't know, even if it's teaching your children, it's so much information in the palm of your hand. Please use it for education and not just entertainment. Because when the whys come later, because your kids are gonna be able to ask you why, and you need to be able to give an answer. I would let the answer be, it's not because I didn't know, but it's because I did the best and made the correct choices for the information and the knowledge I had at the time. Because you can only do what you know, and if you do your best to educate yourself, you can make a better decision.
That's good.
I just wanna say something about what you said, they're rushing into things, and what you would say to your younger self. That's something I would tell my younger self and
Right,
my older
every
self.
self.
Every
All the selves.
Wait, I say.
On the Lord.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
And I will also just say, as we speaking, don't let social media and these devices raise your kids. I am so
Oh
grateful.
my God,
I am so grateful that I was not raised on electronics.
Yes.
I was not raised by a cell phone or a tablet or, a notebook or, I'm so grateful that I still know how to write in cursive. I'm grateful I can pick up a book and look in a dictionary and find the words, or, you know what I mean? I'm so grateful I can still retain phone numbers and things in my mind, because if the phone crashed, most of this world would be lost.
Yes.
We teach your kids properly. I know it's easy to throw a tablet and get them out your way, but please raise your kids properly with you in the mix. You can be in the house and you can be absent. Be in the house and be present in the life of the children that
That
you're
is so
raising.
true. And I made a post the other day and I said, get off of social media and spend some real time with your kids.
Hello?
That's key.
And that was for whoever needed to see it, because it is an addiction. I myself suffer from social media addiction. I can't stop scrolling. I have to be cognizant sometimes and say, you know what, let me get off. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Come here, baby. Come here, kid. Let me talk to you. Let me spend some, let me spend some time with you, because it is so easy to get caught up in everybody else's world. You're scrolling. You know what I mean? You can tell me every superstar and they whole life, and your kid is acting a darn fool, and you can't even tell me why. And all they want is attention.
That's it.
All the majority of the stuff that these kids want is attention that they're not getting at home. So they act out.
So as we're coming to a close, I have two questions. Well, this is a split question, but I want you to take a moment and share two last thoughts. What is an affirmation you do to get yourself through tough days? And what is something that makes you proud to be a mother? So your affirmation and what makes you proud.
Well, for me, I tell myself often, I am who God say I am. I will do all that God says I will do, and I will be all that God said I would be. And I have to believe that. And so, the thing with my children, I look back, even though we had struggles and things might have been tough there, but now I'm very proud of the women and the men that they have become. So I see the struggle that went into them, but they didn't, when life gave them lemons, they made lemonade.
The best lemonade.
The best. And so they're great parents. And, you know, we've broken the cycle of the generational curses that you can't tell that you love each other. We make sure we say, I love you, every time we leave
And
each
mean
other.
it.
But before we hang up, good night, I love you, and we mean it. And so they're doing the same practices with their children. So I'm proud of the men and women that they have become, successfully and all.
Excellent. Trice,
A positive affirmation?
yes, whatever your affirmation is, that gets you through a tough time.
One day at a time.
Okay. Take it one day at a time.
I try to do my best today. Can't stay focused on tomorrow because I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. But I
And you can't control yesterday's
correct,
done.
but I can focus on and make, I know God hates plans, but I can make plans for trying to make the most out of today. And what the most proud thing that I'm about being a parent is when my kids can tell me that they think that I am a good mom. When I hear my daughter, who is one of my, all my children are not the greatest, but
You're
my
yours.
babies. They're mine, you know, and, you know, when my one daughter, who is struggling with some things in her life right now, I'm gonna call her a recovering alcoholic. And, she said to me on the phone the other day, cause I was talking to her and I was like, you know, just telling her some things. And I was like, I know, you know, I'm not perfect. She said, Mom, you are a great mom. You're perfect to me. You know what I mean? To hear that from her, because I'm hard on myself. I am hard on myself. I'm constantly looking for ways to improve. As a mom, I'm constantly asking myself, what do my kids need from me? What can I do better? So for her to say that to me, she really made my day. So for me to be able to be friends with my adult kids, and for them to say that I'm a good mom is what makes me proud.
Shay.
I'm reminded of Philippians, the 4:13, 4:19, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And when hard times come my way, I recite that to myself. I put it on my computer, especially when I was going through school as an adult learner. Just reminding myself, so that's my affirmation, as well as with my children. They know it. And then I tell them every day, you are greatness and you come from greatness. Regardless of what you might walk into or walk through, you are greatness and you come from greatness. And I'm just proud to be their mother. I am proud God chose me to be their mother and for them to be my children. So,
Tomeka.
Once again, Trina stole my. No, but I have the scripture of Matthew 25:34 when Jesus was talking to the disciples, saying that don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. And I had a plan for everything. When they say get ready, so you ain't gotta get ready, that was me. Because it's like I had a plan for, if this happened, then I'm gonna do this. If they say this, then I'm gonna say that. Yeah, but it's not good for everything. And that's what I had to learn. Backup plans ain't good for everything, because all the scenarios you think that's gonna happen, most of the time they don't. You wasted all this time coming up with this, that, and the other. So I say, don't worry about tomorrow. He's gonna be a provider for you. You're gonna pray, you deal with what it is today, and tomorrow will worry about itself. I think that's
what makes you?
Oh yeah, what makes me proud? I would say when my children come and ask my advice. because that makes me know that you trusted, you know, me being your parent, and that you trust what I tell you. And I don't know what it is to be my child, but you do. And so for you to, even as parents, I have 2 grands now. They're 1 and 5 months. So for them as parents to ask my advice as a parent, you know what I mean? I feel proud about that. And as they grow up, that they understand why we as parents did what we did.
Right.
Now, I get it now.
Yeah.
That moment, yes.
Feel so good.
It does. It does.
So as I wrap it up, I wanna thank you all for showing up with your truth. Motherhood isn't perfect, but it's powerful. And tonight, we honored that power. So again, thank you all.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
To be here with you.
I feel like a clap is needed.
Okay.
Something.